As branch secretary of the union representing Hillside workers, Les Ingram has lived through a tough year alongside union members. Last month came the final nail in the coffin for Hillside as KiwiRail confirmed 90 jobs were to go. Tomorrow an event will mark what the Rail and Maritime Transport Union is calling the passing of 30 years of engineering at the site. This evening Mr Ingram is here to tell us about that and to give his thoughts on what's taken place. Good evening, Les.
Hi.
Now, tomorrow's event is a nationwide 2-minute stop work meeting. Why have you picked that particular action?
It's just to send the message to the whole country that rail is the important transport mode in New Zealand that it is, and it's to mark 130 years. Hillside is the leader in engineering, rail engineering in New Zealand, along with our sister workshops at Hutt. There used to be 5 or 6 other workshops. And this is a sad, sad day for manufacturing in this country.
And you've got something a little more poignant planned to happen along Hillside Road as well. What's that?
Yes, we're going to lay wreaths at the World War I and World War II memorial. You know, those people gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country, and we want to honour them and honour the tens of thousands of workers that have proudly worked at Hillside over the years.
Now, what's happening with workers at Hillside at the moment?
It's a sort of stage of flux. If people don't know what to do, it's Christmas. You know, they've lost their jobs. They don't know what to do. You know, should they be applying for jobs? There's not a lot of jobs out there. I notice on some of the websites there's been no jobs listed for the last week or so.
Now, there were some jobs available after the closure. Did any of the Hillside workers take those up?
Yep, 9 people have picked up jobs, 7 in the heavy lift and 2 at the depot in Dunedin. And there's been 21 employed by Bradkins in the foundry.
So how have the affected workers and their families coped so far?
I think there's a range. You know, some people are saying, you know, this is the end of an era, we've got to move on. Others are wandering around dazed, don't know what to do, don't know what the next step is. So I think Christmas has impacted. It's a terrible time of the year. One bright note, the union managed to negotiate a pay rise for everybody that worked in KiwiRail, so there's a little bit of back pay coming, so that'll help to smooth the way.
Are the majority of workers looking further afield for work now to continue in their specialty lines, or are they looking to stay here?
I wouldn't say the majority, there are some. It seems easier for some than others. There's a lot of people who just want to carry on working in Dunedin. There aren't going to be many jobs, though 90 of us all competing for the same jobs.
Do you think there'd be any chance that manufacturing could take place there again?
There's every chance. If KiwiRail and the current government don't vandalise the site, I believe that there's a possibility, whether it's a government workshop again or whether some other engineering firm comes from overseas. It may well be easier now that the workers have been made redundant. We believe the bill for the redundancies was $5 million. No private company could have afforded that. So, you know, when there's life, there's hope. The facility's still there, the demand's still there. So let's see what the future brings. You know, maybe a change in government might help.
And Bradkins have obviously purchased the foundry. What's happening with the rest of the site?
The heavy lift will take up one building. The rest of it, I believe, is going to be mothballed. So, yeah.
Retained by KiwiRail or put up for sale?
Retained by KiwiRail, I think.
You've been outspoken and blaming the government for what has happened. What else would you have expected politicians to have done?
Well, I'd like to see New Zealand workers treated the same way as other governments treat their workers. Brazil, for example, who have brought in procurement rules where, as I understand it, something has to be about 27% DERA. I've written today to the Office of the Auditor General to support Claire Curran's call for an inquiry into the buying of the Chinese wagons. I just think a fair go. We need to subsidise these
the jobs.
The
contracts coming in.
The same way as we subsidise the movie, you know. John Key was in Christchurch. They've opened an internet hub there to get graphic artists started, and they've put between $2 and $5 million into it. You know, that's all we ask, to be treated the same way as others.
RMTU Branch Secretary Les Ingram, thanks very much for your time and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.